Urgency is one of the #1 enemies of your productivity. That's what this is about. It absolutely is one of the #1 enemies of your productivity. It is honestly kind of debilitating. You can have a system that is set up very well, very good, very stable. You can have this stable channel to success. But the fact that you have urgency will basically screw it all up. And urgency is constantly like this thorn in your side that is just digging into you. And oftentimes what it will do is it will cause you to spiral. This is honestly one of the main reasons you spiral. It will also oftentimes cause you to make poor quality work. And on top of this, what this really does is it kind of hurts your growth. Like that's really what it does. It hurts your growth. And so it's just not good. It's just really not good. And we're going to get into that. So I think how I want to structure this sentences. Yeah, it's absolutely one of the #1 enemies. I've talked about resistance before. I think both of you know about resistance. But really urgency is, the way you can kind of think about urgency is it's almost like, how would I put this? It's almost like the frickin' energy drink that resistance is drinking to like beef up. It's like resistance's Tren, you know? Like it's like his frickin' steroids that he like shoots up just as he's about to go body slam you, you know? It's his frickin' juice. And it's like the thing that makes him stronger, you know? It weakens you. It really weakens you against resistance. Resistance has such a much easier time whooping your ass when you are urgent. It's so much easier to get you. It's so much easier to get you to spiral. It's so much easier to completely drain your capacity. It's so much easier to completely screw up your flow when you're being urgent. Because really, let's think about stress. Like, there's multiple different things that can cause stress, right? Whether it be needs not being met, it could be emotional things where it's like people are pissing you off, you don't feel understood, things of that nature. It could be like personal things you're going through, right? But 9 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, one of the components of literally all of these, like literally every single time that you are stressed, it's oftentimes because you feel like you don't have enough time to be dealing with what you're dealing with right now. It's like, oh, something bad happens. You have to process this bad thing. Guess what? You don't get to, because you have shit to be doing today, right? And that is extremely stressful. When there's stuff going on that you need to deal with, but there's also other stuff going on that you need to deal with, and it's like, okay, I can't do both. So I'm going to try and do both. That's the lie that urgency gives you. Urgency is this lie that it's like, oh, okay, we're stressed, we're out of time, therefore we just have to do more and we have to do them both. And it's like, it's going to suck and we're just going to do it. And it's just not good. Genuinely, it's just not good. I think that urgency, I absolutely believe that people should be slaying resistance. People should not just be like, oh, I feel a little bit of pressure to do this, so I'm not going to do it. I think that oftentimes, like sometimes when you slay resistance, it's uncomfortable. It can be. It doesn't have to be if you actually like have the momentum. And that's another thing. Urgency fucks up your momentum big time. Because the principle of momentum is literally that things are easy. And then if you do things at a very basic level and it's easy, then it's easier to do them at a slightly more higher level. And then it's easier to do it at a slightly higher level than that. And guess what? Like the amount of effort here doesn't really change. It's like walking upstairs. It's effortless. You just take the next step and then take the next step and it's okay. Like that's the principle of momentum until eventually you have like this critical mass and you hit this insane amount of skill, or you hit this, sort of chemical reaction where it's just like you're doing difficult things like they're effortless. That's what momentum is, right? But urgency messes this up horribly. We know that this works. We know that this is real. It's baked into like everything. This law of momentum, this law of inertia. But what urgency will do is it will get you to spend more energy and reduce your capacity faster than you are going up. That's what it does. And so what you get when that happens is you no longer like ride up this smooth flow of momentum. What happens is you spike. You spike up and down. And like really this is where a lot of the the mood swings and depression and the like, oh my gosh, I'm not productive enough. Like this is where it's coming from. And that thought right there, that's the thing about urgency. It perpetuates itself. It really does. So it's like if you are urgent, what's going to happen is you're going to feel drained, you're going to feel stressed, and you're going to be sad. And you're going to not enjoy working because you're stressed and sad and you're not at capacity. And then what this does is this is like horrible. Like you shouldn't be doing work while you hate working, because all that's doing, it's giving you what I call task trauma, which is basically where you kind of destroy your relationship with work. Like people do not want to do things that traumatize them. And that's what you're doing when you're working while you're urgent, where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm frantic. I got to get all these things done. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. It's like you're giving yourself task trauma. And so then what happens is resistance gets like this huge leg up on you because it just feels so much worse than it actually is. It just gets to step all over you because you basically think you have to be Superman. And that's the lie that it tells you. And so how can you know if, because here's the thing, sometimes urgency is real, right? Like sometimes there is urgency, like it is a real thing. Certain things in life have deadlines, but honestly, like genuinely speaking, most deadlines are just suggestions. And that's how you need to think about deadlines. They're not actually deadlines, they're targets. They're not deadlines, they're targets. A deadline, the only time you ever actually face a deadline is if you literally don't do something and the consequence is you literally die. That's a deadline. So it's like if you don't eat by, well, I don't know how long you can live without eating, but if you don't eat by that amount of time, you're going to die. That's a deadline, right? But not eating for 3 days, that's probably a target, right? If you don't eat before these 3 days, you're going to be fine. So, or if you go past that, you're going to be fine. And the problem is like urgency is really made up deadlines. Like we love to make up deadlines. And then when we get stressed, we keep doing it. Like urgency perpetuates itself. And the reason why is because it's stimulating. It's stimulating. And the human body and mind do not care about what you're doing, whether it's good or bad. We are beings and systems that basically operate off of stimulation. Like, it doesn't matter if the stimulation is good or if the stimulation is bad. It just matters that you're stimulated. You would rather be stimulated than bored. You would rather be in pain than bored. I couldn't quote it exactly, but I'm pretty sure there's like some tests done where people would like be like put in a room with a button that they knew would shock them. And after a while, they would press that button. Like that's just how humans work. We want stimulation. We don't really care what the stimulation is. We want stimulation. We hate being bored. Hate it. And urgency is very stimulating. It's very stimulating. Stress is very stimulating. And so this is why we spiral. This is why we spiral. Because we think that we have to have it all done yesterday when there is literally oftentimes nothing that actually makes that true. It's just this narrative that we build up in our heads. And so I want you to kind of like get good at like checking, okay, this task, especially if it's stressing you out, does this task actually require me to have it done by a certain time? And then like, what happens if I'm a few days late from this like imaginary deadline that I've made in my head? That's the first thing you can ask is this an imaginary deadline? Is this just this like dreaded looming feeling that it needs to be done, which is actually task trauma? Like that's really what it is. That this is task trauma that you've already given yourself affecting you, right? That's that sort of dread of like, oh, it needs to be done. It's like it probably doesn't. If it's not absolutely critical, it doesn't need to be done. Even if it's something really freaking important, like, oh, maybe like paying the water bill or something. It's like, okay, if the water gets shut off, it's not the end of the world. You can like go to the YMCA, and take a shower there. Or you can like go and ask your neighbor for like a jug of water. And like the only thing that's stopping you from doing that is resistance. Like it's not that big of a deal. Genuinely, it's not that big of a deal. There's so many things where we think it's the end of the world, and it's just not. It's just not. So what do I want to keep going with this? How do we actually overcome this urgency? Like that's going to be pretty important if we want to avoid all of this, if we want to, sort of disarm resistance, if we want to heal from our task trauma, if we want to sort of ascend into this like flow form where we love working, we can't stop working, it feels great to work, and we're not even necessarily like badly addicted to it. It's just like a nice, calm flow, and with like these little pangs of inspiration and passion that give us these spikes of energy, right? Like work can absolutely be a revitalizing thing. It can absolutely be something that fills you with vitality. It can absolutely be something that you love to do, right? It can be. There's no feeling on Earth, on planet Earth, that feels better than a like really clean flow state. That's my personal opinion. I honestly don't think anything else on Earth feels as good as a like very strong, genuine flow state, which we talked about the different types of flow states in a previous symposium. I don't know if you guys were there, but that sort of like mythical, legendary flow state, if you've ever hit one, it's like, no, like you hit that once, you're hooked completely. Like you want it again. You don't ever want to go without it. Like you want your entire life to be like that. And I believe that that's somewhat, not entirely, but like to a degree, achievable. But urgency is going to get in the way of that. And that's another thing is you can't enter flow when you have urgency. You actually just can't, because the basis and foundation of a flow state is calm. Now, the exception to this is the dark dopaminergic flow, which we have talked about before. And typically, if you're entering that, it's because you're full of urgency. Honestly, like that's probably why you had to enter it, where you felt like everything was going to crumble, which is typically a lie. But that functions off of the same principle as, oh, all stimulation is good according to your brain. Like the dark dopaminergic flow works because it's basically masochism, right? Like you're basically using stress as a source of dopamine, which is the doing chemical and the wanting chemical and the go and get that chemical. Like that's kind of what you're doing with the dark dopaminergic flow. But it's much, 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 much better, much cleaner and easier if you just have calm. Like calm is 100 times better, 100 times better. Having that calm, clean flow state where you're going to make really good decisions and you're going to feel joyful, even, or just peaceful.
Hey, Damien.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. I'm not doing so well. I'm okay, but I think I need to step out for a bit.
Okay.
Um, you're recording these still, right?
Yeah, I'm still recording it.
And sharing them? Okay. Yeah, this is very interesting. Sorry, I gotta go, but
Okay.
this is great. Thank you.
Yep. Love, bro. Peace.
All right. Bye.
But so yes, urgency is, it gets in the way of your flow, like over the course of your whole life. And oftentimes people will fall into this spiral because again, it's a spiral and it's like it's not just a one-time thing like, oh, you're urgent. Typically the task trauma is looming over your head and it's making you urgent constantly. So you constantly get urgent, which makes you spiral, makes you crazy, makes you have poor work. And then it like, this is a self-feeding system. Urgency just creates this like constant drain, this constant, intense, um, parasitic drain on your ability to do work. So we got to get rid of it. We got to cut it out. And the first step of that I've talked about is just like noticing, is this actually a real deadline? Am I actually going to die? No. Okay, then it's not a real deadline and I can just push it back and it's fine. Right? Like that's the first step. Oh shoot. I forgot the next step. Give me a moment. It'll come back. Oh yes. So there's a mindset and a framework that we want to replace urgency with. And this is how you can sort of think about your whole life. And it's how you can think about the systems that you're building. Oftentimes we get mad at the systems that we're building when they don't give us the output that we want. But that doesn't make any sense because the system is only going to give the output that it can give. That's how it works. It's a system. There's an input, there's a process, there's an output. And you know, if your capacity is all over the place and you are the part of the process, that's going to explain why you're getting this wild varying output from your system. Like that's going to explain part of it. Um, and urgency is definitely probably part of the cause of that. However, even beyond that, like just thinking, oh, it's not doing as good as I want it to, dude, it's only going to do as good as it can do. And that's the same thing with you. Like you as a system, you're only going to do as good as you can do. And so whatever you meet your capacity at is like, that's it. That's it. That's the entire thing. And you really shouldn't, because we know that this is the result of urgency. Other people try to make you urgent, other people try to rush you, all these things. But if we know that this is the result, it's basically just a lower ROI than literally just like not giving a damn and like being chill and not rushing. Like this is literally genuinely so much faster in the long run, right? Just like being chill, being in a flow state. Awesome. And so, but like we expect these things to perform, and you can't expect anything to perform. You have to be detached from outcomes because outcomes are literally not in your control. They're not. Like what you do is in your control, but and everything is sort of this you know, input process output. Even when you don't have a clear channel or system dedicated to something, like this is still how work itself works. It's like there's an input, there's a process, and there's an output. It's only going to be as good as it can be, and that's all, literally all it can be. Like it's ridiculous to think that it could be better if you just like tried harder. Like why would trying harder make it better? Like trying harder doesn't make things better. Maybe taking time to stop and think about how you could make it more efficient would make it better. But trying harder, all that's going to do is increase your urgency, which we've already shown is going to make you make poor decisions. It's going to make you spiral. It's going to like do all these bad things. Like it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense at all to try harder. So since we know that doesn't make any sense, what we actually need to do and the speed that we actually need to move at in life and with work is something that we're going to call the rate of going. Not to be confused with the going rate. So the rate of going is essentially just the speed that feels natural. It's just the speed where it's like you are moving and you're not moving slowly, but you're not moving fast. You're not trying to balance it either. You're just kind of doing what's comfortable. Where it's like you have a mind of like, oh, I would like to be there swiftly. An example of this would probably be like a brisk walk. Like that's a very good example of a rate of going. You know, it's like it's comfortable, but you're on your way, you know? just a brisk walk, you know? And this is kind of the amount of pressure we want to be applying to everything, because you need to apply pressure to overcome entropy. Like, obviously, entropy is applying pressure on you. You have to overcome entropy with pressure. But we think that it needs to be this giant, vainglorious battle where we're like swinging our sword and like screaming at the top of our lungs and moving as fast as we possibly can. I need to get there faster. I need to get there faster. I need to get there faster. And then it's like this masochistic, dark, dopaminergic flow. It's not really flow though, because you're not present and you're just like kind of, it just sucks. It just sucks. So we overcome this with understanding, oh, literally nothing I do can make it better. And in fact, if I want it to be better, then I need to just slow down and I need to just let it take the amount of time that it has to take in order to be the thing that I want it to be. Like, that's it. Sometimes you can make compromises, but that has to be a logical decision that you make, not an emotional one. Where it's like, okay, you know what? I would really like for this to be out today, so I'm going to compromise on some of the quality right here. And I'm going to be okay with that. That's okay. That's fine. In fact, that often lines up with the principle of just making a minimum viable product, right? Like first you make it exist, then you make it better. That's okay, right? And resistance will tell you you have to make it perfect. That's perfectionism. It's one of the forms of resistance. But in resistance is anything that stops you. So from getting what you want. But let's see here. So we have to just take this rate of going where I'm just going to apply gentle pressure to everything that I'm doing. You know, kind of like a babbling brook, like a gushing stream. It's kind of how you want to think about yourself. And isn't that's flow. That's exactly a picture of what flow looks like. Right? And if we know that flow is the most productive state, then okay, that just means that if we want to reach flow states more often, if we want to have that mythical flow state, if we want to love our work, then we just can't be urgent. We have to just sort of apply this gentle pressure, enough to overcome entropy, but not enough to make you not calm. You should be calm. And that's kind of the measure. If you're starting to become stressed, if you're starting to spiral, if you're starting to not make sense and you're making these emotional decisions and you feel bad, then you're pushing too hard. And I don't care if it's like, if you think in your mind, oh my goodness, this is not good enough. Like, if you think it's not good enough and everything's going poorly, I guarantee it's not actually the thing that's the problem, it's you. Like, you are the problem. It's actually your perception that it's not good enough. You could accept that, oh, maybe I have low capacity today. Maybe I'm missing something that I need. Maybe I need to take a step back and look at this further. Maybe I need to plan to just do this on a different day. Maybe I need to, make an announcement. Oh, sorry, guys. I thought it was going to be out by this time, but it looks like we're going to have some delays. I'm not going to give a exact date on it, and it's going to be okay. Right? Like, that's fine. It's absolutely fine. And if people get upset about that, well, guess what? They are also under the spell of urgency. So just forgive them for that. Because they are they're having the same task trauma and problem, and they're projecting it onto you. And so don't project it onto other people. Don't let other people project it onto you. And other people don't need to understand why you're calm. They don't need to. You can just be calm and just be moving at your own rate, the rate of going. Whatever's comfortable for you. That gentle pressure, where it's like you're going to be slaying resistance and you're not going to be moping about and like letting entropy move you to a state where you no longer have momentum. Like, you're still going to use the principle of momentum, but you don't need to push yourself so that momentum is like speed. Like, momentum is not about speed. Momentum is more about compounding interest of things that you're doing, is kind of how you can think about it. And at a very base level, it is about speed. At a very base level, just when you're getting into it. But once you hit the rate of going, your speed should stay exactly the same, or only fluctuate slightly, kind of depending on your mood and stuff. Right? That's kind of how it works. So the rate of going is how you overcome urgency, and just realizing, oh, most deadlines are not real. What's the worst thing that happens if I don't meet this deadline? Maybe it's like, oh, my boss is disappointed at me and he might like point his finger at me and give me a stern talking to. Like, can you live with that? Can you just accept that? Is that fine? Are you going to be okay? Are you going to die? Are you literally going to die? Okay, then it's not a deadline. If it's not literally going to kill you, it's not a deadline. It has dead in the name, right? It's just a target. And it's a target that somebody else set for you. It's not even a target that you've set for yourself oftentimes. And when you make these imaginary deadlines, these vague imaginary deadlines that are caused by task trauma, that's what's happening too. You're basically letting resistance give you a deadline that doesn't exist. And you're letting resistance influence you. You're letting it be like a lord over your life. And urgency is the way that it keeps you down. It's the way it keeps you distracted. It's the way it keeps you from actually fighting back, right? So we have to apply patience. We have to understand that things literally only go at the speed that they go at. They literally only go at the comfortable rate of going. That's all they do. That's all anything does. And you cannot make it go faster. Whatever the rate of going is what the rate of going is. So you just need to accept it. Oh, that's the rate of going. That's exactly the speed that it's going to take. And I'm just going to try and play my chords right while going at this speed. That's all you can do. It's genuinely all you can do. So if you are feeling urgent, if you're like spiraling, if you're at low capacity, if it's stealing your joy and your peace, something I recommend doing is 4, 6, 8 breathing. So I want us to do one round of this real quick, and because it's kind of cool. Each of these numbers, when you do the inhales and the exhales and the holdings, for these numbers specifically, uh, for whatever reason, like when you do them for these numbers, it's sort of like these are the numbers where your parasympathetic nervous system like kicks in. This is like where it gains enough momentum, and it kind of hits that critical mass, and you actually kind of switch. So it's going to be inhale for 4, hold for 6, and exhale for 8. We're going to do one round of that right now. So inhale for 4, hold for 6, exhale for 8. I don't know if you felt that, but I definitely felt it. For each of those numbers, it's like the parasympathetic nervous system got like kicked on for at the end of each of those. And so if you just stack that a few times, then you will slow down. You will realize, oh, I'm feeling urgent, and it's a lie. It's not helping me. It's harming me. I just need to go at the rate of going, and I need to chill out. And if I do that, I'm probably going to hit a flow state. And then I'm like, all the work is going to get done. It's going to be awesome. So that's what I've got for today. I'm going to open this up. Questions, comments, actually review. What'd you get out of this?
This was a good one. Um, Actually, I was worrying about deadlines all the time. On the one hand, that was my strong competitive advantage because lots of people do not really adhere to their deadlines. I did, but that was a costly achievement. I often felt exhausted, and it led to different, let's say it diplomatically, unhealthy coping mechanisms. Yeah, that's a good idea. Similar to the one you pointed out during the previous call, which is strive to achieve inner peace first and achievement second. That was a really good one. So this one is good too. Yeah, I liked it very much.
Yeah, it's along the lines of that. If you are urgent, you cannot be at peace. In fact, it's
Right, right.
basically probably the main thing in the way of peace. Genuinely.
Yeah, it's
Um,
also like in my opinion, it has great like philosophical and not only like metaphysical, but right down to earth. How do you say it? Like reasoning behind it, because well, we're gonna die, right?
mhm.
So, as of my knowledge, like nobody has like transgressed through that threshold, so we're gonna die. And the quality of life is the quality of life you have today, right? So you're not at a death row and nobody's pointing a gun on you, hopefully. So, and obviously, like we all hope to achieve like this high status sometime, like lots of money, like the quality of life you want to have, right? I know, private jet, girls, houses, cars, whatever, like whatever your vision is.
Mhm.
But at the same time, you can, or you could, or you could not achieve that. But you have your life at hand right now, right? And the quality of it is defined by the level of your inner peace. So you can get inner peace now, and you can achieve your goals later. You know, like, and your overall quality of life will be way higher if you just forget about inner peace and go for it. You know, like all in.
Absolutely. Abso-friggin-lutely. It's like you could have all this suffering now and maybe get what you want later, but then have like this like broken and addled mind to go along with it, and then that might make you lose it. Or you could just like be
Yeah,
chill and then also get what you want later, and it would just be like awesome, you know?
yeah, yeah. And I think also when people actually achieve wealth before achieving inner peace, these situations often end up like resolve themselves with people actually getting destroyed by their wealth.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, like yeah, develop addictions, like make stupid decisions, like end up on the street. Um, I trade markets, like that's my primary occupation, and you could take a look at the story of Jesse Livermore. Like, ever heard about the guy?
I have not.
I think you could study him a bit because he was basically the first trader in the modern like in the modern sense. So he traded 100 years ago, something like that, and he was so big that supposedly the government of the states had to negotiate with him so he could like let the stock exchange breathe. You know, like he was so big, like destroyed everybody else. So the thing is that he obviously he got immensely rich, but the problem is that later in his life, in 20s, when the Federal Reserve was established and the markets changed, he failed to adapt, and on top of that, he failed to adhere to his own system, and he lost everything, and he eventually shot himself in the
Damn.
head. Yeah, so that's a very cautionary tale, and I think, and not on top of that, descendants generation after generation were complete degenerates, like porn stars, like drug addicts, alcoholics, gamblers, like till this day. Believe it or not, like somehow they still procreate and they still quite like not the best life to have. So let's say it this way. And I think he was not ready, and neither of his descendants. They never had this peace of mind, and they were like sort of haunted by the wealth. They was obviously he still had money, like not totally
Yeah.
houses, you know. Yeah, so it just destroying them because they never developed that right mindset. So yeah, very interesting thoughts.
Yeah. Who's this guy's name?
Jesse Livermore is the name. Boy Plunger was his nickname.
Boy Plunger?
Boy Plunger, yeah, because he plunged in the markets. Jesse
Ah,
Livermore.
okay. All right. Thank you. I'm gonna have to look into him.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that sounds very similar to that. Um, yeah, urgency's it's a big no-no, and it's very sneaky. I find that it'll like creep in. If you want to have something a little bit more productive than urgency, but you still want things done on a tight schedule, targets. And actually, a target's really nice because it's basically like you're allowed to miss it. And if you miss it, it's just like, oh, interesting. I missed it. I wonder why. And you can like review, like, why did I miss the target? Huh. You know, and then you can actually learn from it. But it's still something that's motivating. Because you want to see it hit at the target. And then on top of that, if you have a deadline or something, it's like you pass the deadline and then you're just in panic mode, like complete panic mode, which is even worse, just spiraling. And so actually, this is also applicable to scheduling. A lot of people see their schedule as like this sort of rigid thing that they need to adhere to, and it causes anxiety. But that's never what a schedule should be. A schedule should always be a suggestion. Like the schedule is basically suggesting that you be here at this certain time and that you do things at this certain time. And if you don't, you need to build padding into your schedule so that it's okay if you miss those things. It's always just a suggestion. And if your schedule is making you feel urgent, oftentimes it can, then you need to change your schedule. Like if that is the source of your urgency, then you need to make your schedule a little bit more loose. The things that I like to do for scheduling is basically, I call them like domain days, where it's like I can kind of do whatever I want for the whole day. There might be like certain times where it's like triggers that I have related to like eating or sleeping. Um, but like beyond that, it's basically just an entire day focused on this one area of my life. And then I'll kind of schedule things like that. So I have like a few, maybe I work on one project for 3 days, and then I work on another project for 3 days, et cetera, et cetera. I have it now where it's set just cyclically in a loop. But that's been very calming. It's been very reassuring because if I miss a day, or if a whole day gets messed up, it's okay. I still have the other things and it's okay. It's just a suggestion. It's not like this rigid taskmaster that's gonna hit me if I mess up.
All these things, they are tools made for your convenience, not the other way around.
Exactly. Exactly. But people use productivity tools as a way to whip themselves because we have so much task trauma from other people projecting their task trauma onto us and saying that this is just the way it is and that this is how we have to be, that it's like we almost have this society and culture that sort of like idolizes the whip. It's really messed up actually. Um it's pretty messed up. We're a bunch of productivity masochists, and I just kind of I don't like that anymore. I'm good. I'll pass.
Yeah, yeah. It's a bit it's a variation of external validation. So, like if you don't feel okay inside, you start to seek validation from the outside. And like, oh, okay, today was a day when I have completely adhered to my schedule. A good boy, you know.
Yeah, no, literally, that's so true. That's so messed up, bro. That's so messed up. Yeah, dude, productivity masochism. That's gonna be a new video. Oh gosh.
On the other hand, every once in a while you meet these people, and oftentimes they are wealthy and powerful. You just feel how they are deeply okay with themselves, like, and even you start to feel better around them.
Hmm.
And that's I think the right destination, to arrive to, or at least to go in that direction.
Absolutely. That's a good North Star. Just getting what you actually want. Like resistance is the thing that gets in the way of what you really want. And so if you're not, like, resistance can attack you long term and it can also attack you short term. It's like you need to be thinking about, what do I want short term as well? Like, a lot of people just kind of think about like the overarching goal, but it's like, no, I need to be comfortable while I'm getting there. Like, genuinely, you need at least like this 25% level of comfort in your life, or you're actually just going to go insane, because you're not a machine. Or maybe you can think of yourself as a machine, but like the machine has a certain requirement of comfort that it needs to not feel like a dog, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. All right, man. This has been an awesome call. I love your thoughts. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah. Thanks to you. Like, very interesting thought. It's very rare. It's a very rare situation where like each discussion has this like very readable and writable, like thesis, like ideas. That's really great about your calls.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Real quick, are you okay with this going up on YouTube?
Yeah, I think so. Why not?
Okay. Awesome. Cool. Then it will get uploaded there. Alrighty. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you.